episode 1 of the podcast. My guest today is a very special friend, a Navy veteran, a world traveler, Aquaman's out-of-shape twin, Dre Vela.
AKA Jacob Momoa.
Alright, Jacob. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Man, it's been crazy out there. How you like this COVID-19?
Man, alright. Legit funny story on this. It's like, I tell everybody, I'm used to it. Like, this is dumb. This whole quarantine thing, it's stupid because it's going way out of proportion. Do you remember swine flu? When swine flu was like huge?
Yes.
What happened to it?
You know, there's been other viruses that have been huge and there's been other epidemics going on, but we haven't had to treat it this way.
So why all of a sudden this one?
Like it's we're going to go down this government conspiracy trail.
We can. We definitely can. Because, like, here's the thing about it. The CDC has already admitted that making the U.S. hospitals influx numbers on deaths.
That's incredible, man.
So all these deaths that you're seeing for the U.S., they're not true. Anything that's respiratory, if somebody dies of a respiratory issue, they automatically, it's COVID-19. Oh, it's COVID-19.
Wow, that's true. So they
don't even test.
There's no categories for it. It's if you fall into this broad sense of category,
yes,
you are therefore now part of the COVID-19 data, and you could have died just because you were out of breath.
Yeah, respiratory, heart failure, or anything like that, they're automatically saying it's COVID-19.
That's crazy.
Now,
man.
if you die like decapitation, they're not gonna be like, oh, he died because he got decapitated from COVID-19. No, it's.
Are you sure? He could have been gasping his breath as he was getting his head decapitated. All right, well, let's get into it, Dre. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up at?
Dude, all over. I'm originally from Galveston, Texas, but I grew up in San Antonio, Houston, Galveston, Austin. Yeah, actually, let's get into that part. My parents married at an early age. They're 19 and 20.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, no, they were 17 and 18.
What decade did they get married in?
The 90s.
In the 90s? And they were still getting married at 19? Jesus.
Yeah. They were in the 90s. And then 3 years later, I was born in 93. And then I was 3 years old when they got divorced. So
wow.
Then when they got divorced, I went with my mom. Mm-hmm. And my mom ended up going to like San Antonio and everything. And then my dad, funny enough, moved to Austin because he had a job over there in Dell doing IT stuff.
But they got married really young. What else happened? What kind of led to this divorce?
Me, not joking. No, like, okay, for a while.
The mom came to him, to your dad, and said, "I'm pregnant. Is it a daughter? No.
No. Bye.
We're done."
Actually, they did think I was a girl.
Really?
Yeah, they legitimately, they had ultrasounds and everything, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a girl."
Was your penis that small?
I guess so.
Was it inverted?
Because I was born and they're like, oh no, that's a fucking boy.
Dre, are you telling me you're born in the wrong body?
Yes. No. So my parents, when they were married, they had me, and they were good for 3 years, and then it just, again, they were too young. My dad was young; he didn't really know what the hell he wanted, so he didn't treat my mom. I'm not saying he beat my mom or anything, but he didn't treat her like right, with respect, and he wasn't paying enough attention or whatever. And then my mom got tired of it, got fed up, and was like, all right, I'm leaving you, bye, because you're not trying to do anything for yourself. You're just trying to sit on your ass and be lazy.
3 years old, do you have any recollection of any of this stuff going on? Do you have like a memory and it may not be a memory, it may be a feeling, like anything.
I feel like I do, but like I swear, like it's just a dream sometimes. I do have like some instances in remembering like of my early youth, like 1-2 years old. Like most people don't remember that shit, but like I remember like some vague moments of like my parents arguing or being loving or people being at the house or me doing things, but I don't remember like a lot of like what arguments were. I just remember hearing like some slight yelling and then like whatever afterwards. It was never anything like big or bad that I remember. I just remember like small little snippets, like a little film or something like in my head. It's like, oh, like here's a snapshot of what you used to look like when you were a baby. You're like, here's this.
Oh, wow. Your mom and your dad's relationship casted you already at 3 years old into this kind of world of turmoil. So So you decide to live with dad or mom? Where does this go from there?
Well, when I was younger, I didn't really get to choose. So I ended up living with mom. So we'll go to mom's story. Mom's story was when she was younger, at around 10 years old, she lost her dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Actually, he was a hot water person at one of the refineries, and one of the pipes bust, and it killed him.
So already her start of
her daddy issues were there.
Yeah, it was already there. She didn't really have that relationship that was grounded for her to find a relationship that was grounded.
So as she got older, we ended up moving to to San Antonio, and then she met my first stepdad, my ex-stepdad, who I vividly remember. I hate this guy. Like, legitimately hate. Like, people are like, oh, you shouldn't say hate. It's a strong word. Yeah, no. I was 4. I think whenever she met him, 4 or 5. And I looked him in the face at a dinner table around her friends and his friends and said, are you my mom's new boyfriend? And he's like, I would like to be. I said, if you hurt my mom, I will hurt you. Yeah, I was like...
That's a pretty deep moment for a 4-year-old.
Yeah, but who listens to a 4-year-old? Like, okay, imagine your son's 4 years old now, and he tells you, like... He tells somebody, you hurt my mom or hurt you. They're like, oh, he's so cute. They're not going to be like, your son's a psychopath. Like,
unless the guy was like, you know what? I am going to hurt him, but I can pick this baby up and punt him.
But, like legit, like, nobody's going to listen to you. So, like, of course he didn't listen to me. And, you know, like... a lot of people, I'm a pretty open book about my life story. So when I was living with my mom, about 6 years old, he was a druggie. Like, he was a druggie, and he was coked out and drunk and everything, like, all the time. And he came up. I remember he came home one day, and my mom, he was like, "Where's your mom?" And I was like 6, 7. I was like early on. And I was like, she went to the store. He was okay. He went to his room and passed out. And like 30 minutes later, I'm sitting there playing Nintendo 64, not caring about anything in this world.
Best gaming system of my youth.
Oh, no, dude, Sega Dreamcast.
Oh, really?
I'll get to that in a second. I'll tell you why.
All right, so he walks in.
Well, no, he went to his room and everything. And I'm just kind of chilling in my room playing my game or whatever. And I just hear a loud boom. I was like, what was that? And it's him in my doorway with a shotgun pointed to my face.
Whoa.
Yeah. You're 6, 7 years old. You don't think you're going to be shot at. You're just like, I was freaking out. Like, who wouldn't? I'm 27. I'll freak out now. Like,
wow, it's incredible, man. So you're 7 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, sitting there, dude standing. I'm sure he's what? In your memory, he's 6'9", 6'12".
Well, no, in my memory, honestly, he's a short fuck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's 5'6". If I'm not
the shotgun's bigger than he is.
Yeah. So like, in my head, like, it's still think like this: if you see a fucking grizzly bear, you're not gonna be like, oh. So I start crawling to my closet. Because my mom used to have a gun in the closet. And the gun was because he was always in drugs and stuff, and he was always in shit with bad people. So she had a gun for protection. Yeah, like, dude, like, people would be watching our house. So we'd have cops, like, watching our house to make sure, like, these people weren't going to harass us or anything. It was ridiculous. Like, but I don't remember any of this. My mom told me this when I was 20, like 4, and that's when I first heard about this. I was like, what?
You think, like, in your 7 or 6 year old mind, you compartmentalized it and just kind of brushed that box underneath some stuff, or like, do you vividly remember this scene?
Oh, no, I vividly. Okay. So, like, all right.
So when you were saying, like, your mom told you about this, you're talking about, like, the surveillance stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
That I don't remember. No, but this part, like, I vividly remember.
Okay.
Like, I remember a lot of, like, the bad shit that he used to do to my mom, to me. And I mean, homeboy's in prison now.
Wow.
He's been in prison like a few times, but he actually broke out of the Oklahoma State Penitentiary. Yeah, he like did a prison break.
Wow. Might be watching him on a documentary on Netflix soon.
Dude, right? But no, like, honestly, I felt bad like a lot because the reason I actually ended up living with my dad now, flip the table, was because my mom didn't want me to be around him and around the negativity and how bad he was. So she made me go live with my dad, which I was okay with. Like, my dad was always there. So they had joint custody. So every weekend, a lot of times my dad would come pick me up from San Antonio, take me to Austin or whatever. And those are my early memories of Austin. And then I lived there for about 5 years, from like 3rd grade to 6th grade. My second time in 3rd grade. Not mind you, because my first time in 3rd grade was in Galveston at Parker Elementary. And then I ended up going to Austin and went to a school called Pillow Elementary.
So you were with your mom for how long, could you say?
I was like 9.
Till you were 9. So for the age of 3 or 4?
Until like 9.
Till 9. So this was the one stepdad that you had, or did you have multiple stepdads? You had moms have boyfriends coming in and out?
No. My mom didn't really have boyfriends coming in and out. She had him. She married my dad. When they got divorced, she waited a little while and then met my stepdad, my ex-stepdad, married him and everything, had 2 kids with him. And then they got divorced. And now she's married currently again with my new stepdad, who's actually who has the same name as me. His name's Andres. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah, I know. My dad has the same name. Me and my dad have the same name because I'm the 4th. But then my stepdad now has the same name as me, just different last names.
Like, she look at the phone book and it's like, I like this name.
Right? But no. Like, yeah, he's like a sheriff's deputy in Galveston County. So I like him. Let's just say that. When my brother and sister were younger, they started calling him dad, and I was like, you know what? I'm okay with this. I'm good with my mom being with him. Like, I feel like she's safe now.
When your dad's showing up every weekend or so, so is he coming like the knight in shining armor? Is that how you feel when he's coming, or you feel like, oh, I gotta go with dad? Like, do you want to stay home and protect mom? Like, what are you feeling whenever dad picks you up?
Honestly, like, I never felt like I really had to protect my mom whenever I was away. Was I scared? Sometimes. I guess I just really never thought about it. But anytime I'd go to my dad, like, it wasn't like, oh, my hero. It was like, oh, it's my dad. Like, shit, I get to go hang out with my dad now. Like, yeah. Because my dad was always fun, and, like, we always did, like, cool shit together. So I was like, yeah, can't wait to go with my dad. Like, hell yeah. Like, we're going to go see some places. Like, we went to Austin for your whole, we should say bridal party type thing. Yeah, there we go. I was like, when we went to Lake Travis, like, I have vivid memories of being on Lake Travis with some of my friends from, when I was living in Austin.
Wow.
Or, like, I have memories of, there's this place in Austin, well, it's like in the outskirts of Austin. It's called Hamilton Pool. My dad used to take me there all the time. Like, that's my favorite spot in Austin. Man,
shout out Hamilton Pool. That pool is beautiful. If you haven't gone there, you live in Texas, you're missing out, man. You're missing out.
Dude, like, it's
an oasis in a desert, really.
It really is. I mean, there's no desert. Oh, no, because it's kind of a hike, and you're, like, kind of around, like, desert area. But, yeah, no, it's legit, dude. It's... Now, if it's summertime and it's like the dead of heat, especially if you're like in Texas, from Texas, we get that 110 plus weather. Barton Springs, you'll literally jump in there once and not go back in the rest of the day. And then, like, in Austin, I have plenty of memories. I guess.
So your dad lived in Austin too. So he didn't just live here in Houston. Like, so he moved up to Austin to be closer to you. Is that what you're saying?
No, job opportunity, actually.
Oh, okay.
My dad ended up getting a job at Dell. It was because I would actually fly from San Antonio.
Yeah.
Well, because after a while, we lived in San Antonio for like 3 or 4 years with my mom, and then we moved back to Galveston, Houston area, and then from there, I would always travel from Houston to Austin by plane to go visit my dad. And it was like $75 a plane ticket. I remember that, dude.
Wow, I'm sure most of us are like $75.
Yeah, it's like a 45-minute flight, so it's like it wasn't a big deal. I was flying by myself at a young age, and that's why I guess I like flying now.
So traveling's always been a big part of your life, even before anything else.
Yeah, and before anything else, like traveling from city to city constantly was always a thing from my mom and my dad. And then when my mom moved to Oklahoma or Louisiana, there was more traveling involved.
Man, so you've been all over, Dre.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't live in Oklahoma or anything, but, for like the summers, I guess I did because my mom lived there. But yeah, after I lived with my dad, I never went back to my mom's.
And that was it.
Yeah, my dad kind of like, it was one of those things like, it's like my son's not going to be around that anymore.
So once your dad moved to Austin, your mom kind of had that come to Jesus moment of like, let's make sure that Dre goes up with dad.
Well, my dad was already living in Austin for a minute.
Okay.
It was when we were living in Galveston, and my ex-stepdad's antics and like abuse was getting really, really bad, and my mom didn't want me around it. So my mom had kind of that come to Jesus moment. It was like, called my dad. I was like, hey, can he come stay with you or live with you? And then my dad's like, I'm not gonna fucking say no. It's my son, so yeah. Like, of course. And then I wasn't.
Well, I can't be bringing home all the girls I'm bringing now this weekend. I can't try to get laid if I have a kid at home.
But so like, it's funny that you say that because I remember like some of my dad's girlfriends from time to time. But like, they were
always wearing his dress shirt, like it was the 80s with long white socks. Where'd you get those socks from?
Like, they don't even make those anymore. But yeah, like, no, living in Austin, I have some of the better memories though, and I think it was because I was living with my dad, and there was never really bad times between me and my dad. So like, growing up in Austin was actually pretty cool. I grew up actually being that skater kid.
So it heavily influenced you because there's a different cultural vibe that's in Austin, man. There's such a. Could you explain that vibe to somebody that's never lived there? Like,
okay, so it's weird. Like, legit, they're saying keep Austin weird is definitely a fucking thing, dude. Like, living in Austin compared to Houston, there's a huge cultural difference. I mean, don't get me wrong, the music scene here in Houston is heavily hip hop based. In Austin, it's everything, dude. Like, have you been to South by Southwest?
No,
like,
I've never been.
Or ACL?
I would love to go to those things.
Oh my god, dude! Even just watching it or like seeing it, like passing by it, you just see all the different types of people. It's like you have the rockers. It's okay. Like, have you ever seen the meme where it's like my two sides coming together and it's like the super cholos and then it's like the like goth kids and stuff? Yeah. Literally, dude, that's me. Like, that's how I was. I was a band nerd, sort of. I was in band, but the guys I hang out with were like skaters, metalheads, and everything like that. Some of the dudes that I skated with were heavy into like rap and stuff like that, and smoking and and doing all that stuff. When thug type skaters, and then I had like the white like rocker skaters, and I fit into both.
That's crazy.
And it was actually really cool seeing that. And I remember like going with, because I would hang out with a lot of times with like my Mexican guys who skated, and we used to go all over Austin, dude. By the way, I was like in middle school, like
doing all this,
like 5th and 6th grade, dude. I was like skating off in like downtown Austin,
man,
without my dad.
My middle school was totally different. I would go across the street to these apartments, literally across the street from the middle school. I got caught one time. Mom was like, "You motherfucker, you better never cross that street again." I was like, "I'll never do it again, Mama."
Yeah, it was weird because like my dad was very lenient, like on stuff that I can do.
Yeah,
but if I got in trouble, I was in trouble, dude. Like, I got caught smoking weed, and I was grounded for like a year.
Wow,
I couldn't do shit, dude. And like, this was like towards the end of my tenure in Austin. So I was grounded up until I moved to Baytown. Yeah. So like half of my 6th grade year, I was grounded.
When if your group of friends are like, "Oh, I'm going to see you guys later," you're like, "I'm going to go home and just, I don't know.
Chill.
I'll masturbate for like this 15th time."
But yeah, it's like, so in Austin, it was, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I felt a little bit more free. Like, I didn't feel like I was like always home or whatever. I was one of those kids that like was always outside, always going to hang out with my friends. I didn't really stay inside. I actually really didn't start staying inside until I moved to Baytown. Yeah, but I mean, that has nothing to do with me moving. That I guess it started turning to like where I was like a little bit more secluding myself. But yeah,
secluding yourself. Why would you feel like you needed to do that?
I guess a little bit did have to do with me moving. Okay, so background on me moving to Baytown. I moved up to Baytown on my birthday. So my dad took me out of school without me knowing on my birthday to go live in Baytown.
Happy birthday, kid. We're going to take you from this awesome, unique city to this place that has a bunch of plants around it. You're probably going to get cancer by the time you're 60.
Yeah.
So Happy birthday.
But it was crazy. Like, I was just like, so like, you know, how everybody has their first love or whatever. I legitimately did. Like, my first girlfriend ever, like, I was super serious with. Only reason we ever broke up was because I moved.
Oh wow! So y'all never actually got y'all are still together. Y'all could still be together right now. Y'all haven't had to talk.
We technically never had that goodbye moment. Yeah,
that's heartbreaking, man.
So it's like, yeah. I mean, I think when I thought about it then, I was like, yeah, I was fucking devastated. But like now that I'm older, I was like, I understand why my dad left. Because if my dad wouldn't have left Austin, my stepmom was actually gonna come that summer. She just wants her kids to finish off the school year. She was gonna come live with us that summer. But my dad bit the bullet before she did and was like, nah, we're just going to move down there. He didn't call my stepmom until we were already almost there. And goes, hey, we're on our way. We're here. She was here as in where? She goes, we're outside. She said, like, you know, it was either we live there or she said at any time we can come.
Oh, that's great.
If we decided to move there. Well, it just so happened that it was on my birthday. I was like,
hey, go buy a birthday cake, by the way.
Well, no, he really did. Like, well, we moved the day before my birthday. Well, the day of my birthday, we were like getting everything together to move. And I remember like they got me like a cake and everything. My aunts and uncles were helping us pack and everything.
Oh man, that's good.
But it was just like one of those things. It's like, I don't want this right now. Like, I want to be at home. I want to be at school right now, telling my friends bye, like officially, telling everybody, hey, I'll catch you later. Like, hey, keep in contact, or tell people like, hey, dude, next time I'm in Austin, if I'm ever in Austin, I'll hit you up.
So you never got closure from that, man?
So when we went to Austin for your thing, I had just talked to my ex from Austin maybe like 4 months beforehand. And I told her, I was like, hey, I'm heading up to Austin. She's like, okay, well, let me know. Tried to get a hold of her over there. Never fucking answered me.
Oh.
Yeah. Granted, I haven't heard from her since, though, either. But she would go through those times which she would call me, or she would text me, and then, because she's married now and has a kid.
Oh, wow.
So she would talk to me and be like, I still have feelings for you, da-da-da-da. Or no, she wouldn't say that. But she would, like, basically, like, tell, like...
She would allude to it.
She would allude to it. She wouldn't tell me directly, but she's like, because there's something I want to tell you, but I can't tell you. But I already knew what it was. But after a while, like, she kept doing it. I was like, look, you're married. There's nothing we can do about that unless you decide to do something about that. I can't do nothing. I can't make your mind up for you. So I'm not even going to try. So I never tried. So
dang. The Dre love is that good. 6th grade love. 7th grade love. I still want Dre. I dream about him every night when I'm with my husband.
God, that's so creepy, because if she does, that's really sad for the dude.
I mean, I'm sure the dude's like, stop calling me Dre.
Who the f is Dre? But yeah. No, so that's my life up from...
So let's jump to your brothers and sisters. So you have a brother and sister. So stepbrothers, stepsisters.
Too many brothers and sisters.
Oh, Jesus.
So I don't believe in the step.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that. I don't believe stepbrother or stepsister. Once my stepmom and my dad got married, like even before then, they weren't even my stepbrother and sister. They were just my brother and sister. But between my mom and my dad, they have one kid, which is me. My mom has 4 other kids between her 2 other husbands.
Oh, wow.
And then my dad has 2 stepkids from my stepmom, and then my sister. So there's 7 brothers and sisters.
Wow. So when y'all get together, it's a very interesting.
Well, we never get together.
Oh, okay. So that makes it interesting, right?
Because it's separated in half.
Yeah.
My dad's side, my mom's side. Now, there's only one time we've ever all been together. I have one picture of all of us together, and it was right before I joined the Navy. Yeah, it was the day that I was leaving out to the Navy.
That's pretty interesting, man. Like, yes. I never would have thought you had 7.
No, and I'm the oldest of all of them.
You're the oldest? How old's the youngest?
So the 2 youngest are a week apart. So my dad's daughter and my mom's son, the last 2 of the lines, they're a week apart, and I am 20 years older than them. So there's a 20-year gap.
Wow.
There's a 2-decade gap between us. So I tell my brothers, so like anytime I ever watch them or like take care of them, I'm like, I'm old enough to be your daddy.
That is
I'll
crazy.
whoop your ass. Because between me and my dad is 20 years.
That's crazy, man.
There's that guy, man.
So
it's like
you're not real close between your brothers and your sisters, or like you talk to them sporadically or anything like that.
No, well, okay. The older ones, yeah, I'm a little bit closer to. The younger ones, not so much. It's like more like, yeah, they're my siblings, but it's like, okay, like I don't. My mom's kids, the younger two, they'll come to my house every so often and play with my girlfriend's kids. I mean, because they're a little bit closer in age. My little brother is 7, and then because I'm 27.
Yeah.
So 7, and then my sister, me and her, on my mom's side, me and her are 16 years apart. So she's 10 now. Wow. Turning about to be 11. So she hangs out with my girlfriend's daughter, and then my brother hangs out with my girlfriend's son.
What's your relationship like with your mom? Since there was such turmoil back in the day.
Early on, it was I kind of resented her, and it was like I hated that she was doing it to herself because she was in a relationship that she was being abused. I was like, dude, you can leave, like. But I didn't realize what was going into her head and how he was making her feel. She was basically a captive, and she was afraid to leave because she was afraid of what he'd do. And then as I started realizing that, and as I got older and I started realizing that what was going on, that's when I started realizing, like, oh, okay. When I was like 11, 12, 15 years old, and she was around him, or if he got brought up, I would tell him, like, I'll fucking kill him. Like,
wow. Yeah,
like, I have no love for the dude or whatever. Like, if he ever crossed paths with me, like, and it's negative, I'd probably be in jail.
Wow, that's crazy. So there's some animosity there, man.
Yeah, it's here. Like, anytime somebody reminds me, like, people remind me of him, and I want to knock their teeth in, but I don't. Like, I have to, like, restrain myself not to do it. I'm just like, I do the whole Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Woosa. Woosa. So you and your dad's relationship is pretty good. Real bond.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, every kid has that teenage angst, like, oh, I can beat my dad up. No, you can't. I don't care how sickly looking or how old your dad is. Your dad will always beat your ass. I don't know what it is. Like, I bunked up to my dad once ever, and he just, like, he pulls out the old man string and just, like, picks me up. In high school, I was like a buck 90, buck 95. Like, I wasn't 200 yet, but I was close to it. And he just lifts me up off my feet. My dad's shorter than me, by the way. Like, I'm 5'10" and a half, and he's like 5'9", 5'7".
Where did he get this dad strength?
Yeah,
all the stress of life just comes like, bearing on you. You just got to carry that weight.
Yeah, like, where did he get all this, like, where did he get this old man shit? Like, it was ridiculous. Like, how? But then again, my dad's side of the family, like, they're just abnormally strong.
What leads you to join the Navy?
A lot of things, actually. There's like 2 or 3 things in particular. One, because I was like hating living in Baytown. Like, I was tired of being stagnant. I was actually falling in line with my dad's old self, where I was like being lazy and not wanting to do anything. And I was like, okay, I'll just do this. I mean, every kid gets lazy, dude. Like, who doesn't? Yeah. Like, I knew what I wanted to do, but I knew what I also didn't want to do. And like how you're saying, like, oh, I was chasing the money for college. I was going to get the process tech like everybody else in this fucking city does. And it's like, I'm gonna make money in the oil refineries. Like, there's a lot of money there, dude. Like,
I have a buddy that makes $100,000,
dude. Right? And then so I see that, and I'm just like, yeah, I want that. Like, I want money. But then I was just like, I wasn't applying myself in school. I wasn't doing anything. So I was just like, screw it. I stopped going to classes. I was paying for these classes for college, but I wasn't going. So I was just like.
So you joined right after high school, or did you join out of high school?
No, I was in school. I was in college for about a semester and a half. So I was about 2 years out of high school. I joined in 2014. So yeah, I was 2 years out of high school. And I was like, I was getting tired of it. And my buddy, I call him my cousin because it's easier for me to say that. He's actually the one that was like, I'm going to join the military. He goes, you should go to the Navy with me and do the buddy program. I was like, I'll talk to them.
What's the buddy program?
So it's an old thing. The buddy program used to be like you go in with your best friend. Like you can go in with somebody that you know.
Okay.
And then y'all go through boot camp together, essentially. So you have like a buddy with you, so you don't feel it. It was the Navy's way of basically saying you can have somebody with you to comfort you if you need somebody. So yeah.
I mean, that's still a pretty cool thing, though.
If it was still a thing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And more people probably would join because it's that whole you feel comfortable thing, especially during boot camp, which we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like it was really just because I was feeling my life was being stagnant, and I was like, oh, I got to get out of here. I was also just trying to get away from my problems. The girlfriend that I had at the time, she's kind of a bitch. She was an asshole. Like she was abusive. I'm because of saying my mom being hit and abused and stuff. I've made it my life goal never to hit a woman, and to like, you know, some people are like, if a woman can hit a man like a man, then she deserves to get hit like a man. I don't believe that. First of all, a woman should never hit a man, and then a man should never hit a woman.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, I'll get my sister, and she'll hit a woman like a man, but she's a woman, so it's okay. She'll beat somebody's ass for me if I need her to. Like, she's really protective of me, and that's legit. Like, it's cool. I love it. But yeah, I would never hit a woman. So she beat me. Like, she's actually physically and mentally abused me. And I was like, I gotta get away from this shit, dude. Like, this shit's crazy. And like, I never really told my parents that, just because I didn't want them to be like, press charges, do this, do that. I'm like, I didn't want to fucking do it.
Well, there's also a stigma that comes with it, man. Like, yeah, you know, there's a stigma where, you know, you're like, you're a guy. What are you talking about? This lady's beating your ass. Man, we show her what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that's what some guys are saying in the back of their head. But it's you can't really share that kind of stuff, man. And the way some of those women can be, man, they can really get in your head and warp your mind, man, where you don't even realize it.
So I joined the Navy. No, that's why I joined the Navy. It was mostly because of those things. And the third one, it's not so big, but my dad was in the Navy, but he never finished. He never passed boot camp. So I was like, I'm going to do something that my dad tried to do and never did. So I went to the Navy and did it.
So you were feeling stagnant in your life. You were getting abused by your then girlfriend, and you wanted to kind of pay homage to your dad.
Yeah. So there was three things that meshed, and it was funny because a lot of like the reactions that I got from family was completely fucking two-sided. Like, even on my dad's side, like, it was completely split down the middle. One aunt was like, called my other aunt and was like, call your nephew, tell him not to do it, da da da. And she goes, oh no, called my uncle, was like, tell him not to do it. And he's like, wait, why? If I could do it, I'd do it. Like, I'm proud of him. Like, this is awesome. This is great for him. And then my other aunt, who's hardcore military, was like, fuck yeah, like, awesome, go for it. Yeah, do it. My mom was like, kind of like, she kind of, unfortunately, like, what my mom's opinion is, I don't really take into consideration. Well, at least then I didn't. Now I kind of do a little bit more. But my mom's opinion, I really didn't care about. My dad's is the one that I was scared to tell. I told my stepmom before I told my dad. And my dad was like on the verge of crying. He's like, I don't want you to go. He's like, don't go.
What was it that was so scary to tell him?
I didn't want to disappoint my dad, and I felt like that would have disappointed my dad. So when I did tell him, he even told me, he's like, I'm disappointed. He goes, I didn't want that life for you. He goes, like, I didn't want you to go that way. He goes, but another thing, I was like, at my age, well, at that time, I was like, again, I was like failing out of school and everything like that, because it wasn't something I wanted to do, and I wanted to do IT stuff, but I didn't want to change my major because I felt like he wouldn't support me. Even though it was IT, I felt like he wanted to support me financially because I couldn't support myself financially. So in turn, I got scared, and I was just like, I don't know what to tell him. And then I told my stepmom. She goes, would you want me to tell him? I was like, yeah. So she told him for me. And then me and him went to go get lunch one day after work, or during work, and he was just like, why did it? And I just kind of broke down, and we were at a restaurant, and he started breaking down and started crying. And I was like, that's what I didn't want. Like, I hate seeing my dad cry.
Why do you got to do it in a public place, Dad? Couldn't you wait till we get in the car on the ride home like a normal person?
Right. Now, my dad, the thing is about my dad, he's not a very emotional person. He's not. Like, he won't cry that much. But like, I've seen my dad a handful of times cry, and I'm just like, dude, it's heartbreaking. Like, I've seen my mom cry more than anything. Like, and that like, I'm like, oh, my mom, you always cry. And it actually frustrates me. Like, I get after them. Like, stop crying, dude. Like,
you do it every weekend.
You do it all the time. It's like okay, I get it, Mom. I'm sorry. And then, like, when my dad, like, when he cries, I'm just like, dude, don't cry. Like, if you start crying, I'm gonna start crying. Yeah.
So take me to boot camp. Where did you go for boot camp?
Great Lakes, Chicago. Great Lakes, Illinois. It was April 13th is when I left. Yeah.
It's crazy how those dates stick with you, right? Like,
well, yeah, because my going in date is the same as my leaving out of the Navy date.
Wow. Well, so 13 days ago. What, 4 years ago? 5 years ago? How long ago was this?
2014.
2014. 6 years ago. 13 days ago, you just left to go to boot camp.
Yeah.
So talk me through your feelings of flying out to Chicago.
Flying out, the bus ride there to the airport to Intercontinental, I was nervous. The flight there, I was excited and nervous at the same time. As soon as I got off the plane, they have like a sign basically saying, hey, if you're going to boot camp, follow this line. And they make you sit down like crisscross applesauce in the middle of an airport. Dude, do you know how like demeaning that really is?
Oh my God.
Dude, it's so demeaning feeling and it sucks. And you're just like, we're like coming into O'Hare or leaving O'Hare, which is the airport in Chicago. And you just like see a bunch of grown ass people, like not necessarily just kids, like 18, 19 years old kids. Yeah. But yeah, people who are in their late 20s or almost early 30s, all sitting down, crisscross applesauce, and you're just like, dude, they're different ages. Like now, when we got to there, it was still pretty subdued, but like they were like trying to like be like hard, like yeah, no talking, no doing this, like
in the middle of this public place.
Yeah, the airport. All we had to do was like read this book that they gave us, and this book basically had like the phonetic alphabet, like basic stuff that we need to learn. So we're sitting there going through that and like testing ourselves as soon as we get off the airplane.
Wow.
But we're not allowed to talk to anybody. So like you have to this like alpha, beta, Charlie, Delta, all that stuff. Like we're like sitting there like memorizing it. Like we gotta know this. We gotta know this. In reality, you don't need to know it. But yeah, it puts you in your place, like hardcore, dude. Like that moment put me in my place, and I was just like, dude, what?
Did you? So when you say put you in your place, like was that something you appreciated, or was that something that you looked at and was like, I'm gonna rebel against this?
Both. I respected it because I was like, so early on, they instill in you when they show you like, you're nothing in this world but a speck. You're just a person who joined and decided to join. So in turn, that made me feel like, nah, I'm a person. I'm an individual. I know what I want. I know who I am. But then, like, it kind of makes you sit back at the same time. Like, but I'm doing this for myself. So let me shut up.
True. So,
but some people don't have that same revelation I did. Some people are like, you know, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Some people are like, nah, this shit. Like, nah, you can't tell me what to do. Like, okay. I get people telling me all the time, like, oh, if I would have went to boot camp, I wouldn't let the drill instructor yell in my face like that. Shut the fuck up. Yes, you would. I said the same thing. Shut the fuck up. No, you won't.
So what? Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Then, so you're sitting in this airport. You're already feeling diminished as a person because you're being told to sit crisscross applesauce while all these people are walking by.
Yeah, and just staring at you.
Learning, trying to memorize this
book.
And then from there, what happens next?
The bus comes to take us to the facility that they hold boot camp at, which is in Great Lakes. So on our way there, they have you sitting on this bus or whatever. They have a video playing, and like it's just telling you like, oh,
propaganda.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, it's propaganda. And so you're just sitting there. You're like just watching it. And you're like, okay, and you get off this bus, and they're like, go inside the single file. I was like, shit. Like you look like your headlights. You're like, shit, what's going on? Okay. They line you up, and they're like, hey, you have X amount of time to call your family to let them know that you made it safe. Got it. So we all have our cell phones. So like, okay, we gotta tell them like, hey, we're safe. So I didn't know who to call. I didn't know if I should call my mom, let her know, or call my dad. Call my dad. Because I was like, my dad will tell my mom that I made it safe. So I call my dad. He's half-assed asleep. He's like, hello. I'm like, hey, Dad, it's me. He's like, hey, he's like, Jamaica. I was like, yeah, I only got like 5 minutes. I'm like, I love you. I'll see you, you know, whenever this is all done or whatever. I'll send you my address or whatever whenever I can. Okay. So so as soon as you get there, by the way, so you sit there for like 48 hours, like so the whole intro thing to it is that you're getting your initial necessities. So like you go in, you take initial piss tests to make sure you have no drugs in your system. Then you get all this extra stuff like PT stuff and your sweats and stuff like that. And they make you change right then and there from the clothes that you show up in to your new stuff. It's like these shorts, like old school basketball shorts where they come up to like your thigh.
Yeah.
That's literally what they are. And like a yellow shirt. And they tell you, put everything on this box and you're shipping it home. So everything that you have, your belonging stuff, you're putting in a box and you're sending it back home.
So it's almost like a ritual of like, say bye-bye to your old life.
Yeah.
This is what you are and this is what you have to look forward to.
You're just a number at this point. Yeah. So I was like, what? I was like, okay. So a lot of people they're like, don't keep anything. Don't keep cell phones. Don't keep this. If you have an address book, you can keep it so you can mail stuff, so you can send letters. But no phones, no nothing. So some people will, you know, sneak their cell phones or whatever. Surprisingly, nobody in my division did. But yeah, so that was like a big thing. And then get up and you're like just walking around or whatever, and like you're initially doing all this stuff, and you're trying to stay awake, and they're like nodding off, and they're like next. Yeah, dude, it sucked. So I get to my compartment where my division's at. Oh, because like the guys that came in like the day before us, they weren't filled up yet, so they needed to fill up them. So they filled us up, you know, by putting us in there. And then that's when like boot camp really started. And then it was just kind of like,
to somebody that's obviously, I guess you can consider me a civilian. Like, what does that look like?
So boot camp for us is really, it's just, you're in a compartment with a bunch of bunks, and those are your roommates, basically. And you're in there with like, I think 60 something people. And then you have so much time to shower, by the way, between everybody. You have like 30 minutes for everybody in the division to take a shower.
How many people are in this division?
60 something, like 64,
60 something people?
Yeah, you have 30 minutes.
What are you, piggybacking on each other in the shower?
So in the shower, have you ever seen like the old school like prison movies and stuff?
Yes.
Or like gym. Okay, no. Were you in sports in high school?
No. I was a loser.
I mean, no. So was I. Don't worry. But like, have you ever like been to the locker room and like you see like a big open room and like, there's like
the one that every guy that has nightmares about?
Yeah, because there's like one shower here and one shower here, but there's like a bunch of shower heads around it. That's basically what it was. There was a small room, maybe about this big, with three shower like individual things with a bunch of shower spigots around it. Wow. So everybody's around there. So I've seen a lot of dicks.
Every guy that has a small dick has that nightmare. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta take a public shower. Yeah, and I'm gonna see hogs that are slanging by the knee.
Not even like you don't try to look.
Yeah,
it's just there. And
oh man, you got some guys that walk around with that old man pride. You ever seen those old men at the gym?
Like, I know I got what I got.
Yeah, like 67. I'm gonna walk down the shower's a half a mile down the hallway. Butt naked, dragging the towel just to prove how much they don't care.
Yeah, but no. So like, it helps you get out of your comfort zone.
So it was a good thing. It's kind of like a bonding experience in a way.
Bad and good. Like you don't want to see anybody's dick. Yeah, it helps you like get over that stigma. Like, hey, these are different people. Because at one point, after a while, on Sundays, it was like, since it's God's day, we go to church and everything, and they kind of let us relax, and they have it's called holiday, because we can kind of relax and like not really feel the bullshit of, boot camp. Bro, I take like 45 minutes. You can take however long of a shower you want. The showers are running all day.
And people are just going in and be like, I want my peace. This is my moment.
People are like, and there's a bunch of us in there, but they're like, oh, you start hearing songs, dude. People are singing in the showers. You hear other people singing, dude. It's actually kind of cool. Like you'll have like one person start a song, and then another person will keep going, and you just hear like a bunch of people just start singing in the shower. Like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Remember the Titans?
Is this a gay chorus line? What is this?
Like, you remember the Titans when they're doing that? Yeah. That's basically what it was. That's what it reminded me. I was like, oh my god, this is Remember the Titans. So, but actually, it's funny because I refer to like boot camp being like Remember the Titans. Like, everybody's different. Everybody comes up from different places. Nobody's the same. Yeah, we all end up coming together and being like a brotherhood, kind of. But why does it have to be that corny? Because it is. It's really that corny. Yeah. But it's true. But
I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that don't have that, especially like for somebody like me that doesn't have any brothers or anything like that. Yeah. It doesn't. I mean, obviously, it does sound very interesting, but it's like, as far as it could be something that's a bonding experience that you even now when I see you look back at it, there's a happiness that comes to you because there's nothing that can replace those moments.
Yeah, it's good memories. Like, obviously not seeing people in the shower naked, but like I have a really good friend that I met in boot camp, and he is still one of my good friends today. Like, I still text him from time to time. Every day is scheduled for you too. So like, one day you're doing this. So like, I know one day we have a whole week dedicated to one thing, and then certain days are dedicated to each individual aspect of that thing. So like, our gun week, it was in our compartment, in our room, we were learning how to handle guns properly, how to unload, what each condition is of the gun, condition 1, 2, 3, and 4, what that entailed. Why is it condition 3? Why is it condition 4? Why is it condition 1? Condition 1, I'll let you know now, is basically you're ready to shoot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're ready to go.
So you would have a day being taught how to handle guns, and then you would have the rest of the week about guns.
Yeah, basically learning and then practicing, and then at the end of the week, basically you'd go in and then put that together and then use that knowledge that you had to get qualified to be able to use a gun. Mm-hmm. So that's like, I think like towards the end of the week. Mm-hmm. Then you have like a bunch of things, like we have swimming and stuff like that too.
So you're learning all the techniques and all the aspects that go into being part of the Navy.
Yeah.
Like nautical stuff for a couple of weeks.
They teach you the bare basics of what you're going to be doing. Mm-hmm. They don't teach you your job there.
Do you take any tests or anything? Is that how you end up qualifying for different jobs? Like,
so that actually, before you even go into the military, when you go to the whole, it's called DEP. Mm-hmm. But it's the whole process of waiting before you go in. You have to go into downtown Houston, basically, into MEPS, and take the ASVAB, which is like an acupressure test of what you're good at and what you're not. And then that's whenever you decide your job based on your scores and your line scores. Your base score doesn't really mean anything. It's the line scores that do. Mm-hmm. And that determines on where you will fit in, where your brain knowledge or what you know will fit into what you can do. And that's how I got into IT for the Navy. So going in, I had a contract with the military to be in IT. But before that, I had to go to boot camp to learn the basics of being a sailor, to being a seaman in the Navy. And then after the boot camp is when you go to your first school. It's called A school. And then that's when you start learning your job. But like, I got into Buddhism. Dude, okay, like, it sounds weird.
No.
So like, on Sundays, we had the opportunity to go to church, whether it be Catholic Mass or whatever. I don't know why, but I went to Buddhism. I was like, that looks interesting. I just want to know about it. And so I learned a little bit about it. I was like, dude, this is dope. Like, it's not a religion. Mm-hmm. Buddhism is not a religion at all. And most religions will tell you, like, oh, it's not a religion, it's a lifestyle. No, legitimately, like, it's just knowing what's good and what's bad and, like, being in peace with yourself. I can still be Christian, or I can be atheist or whatever, and still have some belief of Buddhism, because you're not worshiping, you're worshiping Buddha, who is he's not a god, he's not the Messiah, he's the teacher that teaches the people of what, like,
that inner reflection is.
Yeah, the inner reflection to hit nirvana, to hit your inner peace.
Do you think that you found, are you gravitated towards that because of that turmoil that came with that early on past?
Oh yeah, definitely. That, and I'm the type of person that likes to learn and see new things.
Yeah.
I like to know. So like, I don't believe in much of Christianity. Actually, I gravitate more towards
like Buddhism, Hinduism.
No, I'm trying to like think of the proper term for it, but I believe in more of like Greek gods.
Oh, okay.
So
Like higher,
actually,
like,
if you didn't know that about me, yeah, I believe in like the Greek gods and stuff like that.
that's
Like
crazy.
Greek mythology, yeah, it's like legit what I know more about.
Back to your original statement about the Buddhism, like I think that's fascinating because I remember early on in college, I met a friend that was she was studying to be a teacher, but she was highly religious, and she gave me a book one time, and to be honest, I never picked that book up because it was a way for her, in her mind, to kind of, at least what I saw it from, is her to try to help me convince into joining this cult, because some, no matter what it is, every religion is a cult.
Yeah,
and it's kind of scary when you look at that. Even when you look at like political stuff, like when you're like, I really want him to win. Well, then when you go to rallies, it's a cult. It's a cult of people that like that. And it's interesting. And it doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean you're
right. But it just means you believe in what you believe in.
And so
it's a cult.
But exposing yourself to those different things, because I have another coworker that I have these conversations with, because in a way they're all stories.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're all stories, and it's kind of like, I like that story better than this story, and I don't necessarily believe one more than the other, but I like what this one's overall meaning says, and that's the kind of thing that I enjoy. Because when you talk about religion to certain people, it is a black and white, clear cut line, and some people don't understand that you can just be knowledgeable in different things, and that you can be curious about them. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're trying to pitch it to them.
So here's the thing: when people are like, "Oh, the devils in Hades are bad and they're evil," in Greek mythology, Hades is not evil. Like, he's actually the most evil and most effed up person is actually Zeus, because this dude will literally cheat on his wife and lay with humans, and then have half god, half human children. Like, dude, what?
All the demigods.
Yeah, like,
all the demigods are always bastard childs from, I don't know, one person, Zeus.
Yeah, he's literally the most effed up person there is. Hades isn't. Hades, granted, Hades did capture it, basically take his wife hostage. It's a story of Persephone, and if you don't know that, basically she eats pomegranate, and that's the fruit of the underworld. So for every seed that she ate of pomegranate, and if you don't know what pomegranate is, you can put it up. It's all seeds, But for every seed, it's 7 years that she has to spend in the underworld. She ate a whole field worth of seeds. She's fucked. But that's actually the stories of Persephone, is like the story of why we have seasons, because her mom was the goddess of like the summertime and like spring and like flowers blooming. So the times that she's with, so her mom and Hades made a deal.
Yeah.
The deal was 6 months she'd be with Hades, 6 months she'd be with her mom. And that's why we have fall. The beginning of fall and winter is because she's going to Hades, so her mom starts to be depressed, so everything starts dying. And then when she goes back with her mom, spring, everything's starting to wake up, be lively. And then you have summertime where everything's just flourishing, and you have fall again. But to go back on topic about the Navy, Buddhism was something I gravitated towards, because there was turmoil in my life, and I was like, I just want to see what this is about. I wanted to see what it was. It actually helped. It did. Good. Because when I was in the Navy, in the beginning, you do have to do a physical test. And if you fail this test, basically they're like, no, you can't join. Yeah, and it was push-ups, sit-ups, and then your quarter mile. And that's it. You have to do that throughout your Navy career. It's called a PRT. So if we didn't do it initially, we had 3 times to try it while we were there.
While you were at boot camp?
While we were at boot camp. So first time I failed.
Wow.
I didn't do my run. Second time I failed, didn't do my run. Third time, I barely passed. No, by the power of Buddhism, dude. Because I was like, you get into that mindset. You're just like, I hypnotized myself essentially. Like I sat there, I was like, I need to pass, and I would chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, which is the whole chant for this particular style of Buddhism. And like they tell you, like, picture what you want most. And I'm like, I want to pass. I want to be able to do this, dude. On the fucking button, I passed. Having a positive mindset, having a positive outlook, brings out positivity in your life. Having that negative mindset, having that negative outlook, brings the negativity. Totally agree with it.
Somebody that has the happiest life from the outside, and when you look inside, if they just look at the negativity, they'll never be happy in a day in their life, man.
Yeah.
And so let's continue going on with, so you end up going to boot camp, you make it out of there, and you end up where next?
Right after boot camp, I went to Pensacola, Florida, which is right between the border of Alabama and Florida. It's actually that Florida-born Flobama.
Flobama?
That's literally what they call it. It's the Florida-Bama state lines.
Yeah.
And Pensacola is right there. It's like the border town. So it's like our Brownsville. But yeah, so I went there, and that's where I did my A school for IT. And that was like 6 months, I think. I don't remember.
Any memories that you got from there that stand out?
Oh, yeah. Dude, my whole time there was fucking great. It's like a party.
I mean, you got the best of Alabama, and you got the best of Florida.
Dude, like, it was like a party. Like, as soon as, like, we had our liberty, which was, like, when we were able to leave the base and go do things, everybody would go to the beach and just go get drunk.
That's incredible.
It was great.
Oh,
but
sure.
yeah, I mean, okay, at that point though, it was also like school. So I was like, man, I joined the Navy to get away from school. And then I went to school. And basically that's what A school is. It's school. You're learning how to do your job. But it didn't feel like that. It was because I was learning IT stuff.
You were learning something you wanted to learn
Exactly.
about. So you see, like, that's kind of where education should be, right? You don't you think, like, where it should be gravitated towards the things that people want to study?
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. Like, I get general, like, public education. Like, you want them to learn the basics. It's like boot camp, dude. You want them to learn the basics. But then you get them into college, and that's when they want to learn things, like what they want to learn. But they should really start doing that stuff in high school. But once you get into high school, that's when the kids start getting into that point, like, of what they wanted to know to do. Like, they already know what they want to start doing at that point. Granted, and that would weed out a lot of the kids that don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, it's messed up. Like, no kid should be left behind type of thing. Like, but not every kid is going to want to do what they want to do. Like, want to follow that guideline. But, like, once you start getting, like, kids into, like, something that they want to do, like shop class or something like that, you start seeing it come out of them, and you see, like, they're enjoying it. Dude, when I was in the Navy, like, my first like lesson in my classes was learning how to build computers. I already knew how to do that. So, like, being able to do that for, like, and, like, do it quick and everything, people were just like, wait, what the? And, like, other kids were able to do it too. So it became a competition between us. Our next class was networking type stuff, dude. And I suck at it. I realized, because if you don't know, IT it's everywhere. Like, think about, like, building a house. You have different types of contractors for different types of stuff. You have the people who can build the foundation, build the house. But then you have people that do wiring. Then you have people that do plumbing. Then you have people that do this. IT is the same way. You have people who can build the cases, but you need somebody that's in there who can build the parts. You need somebody in there, like, whenever it starts connected to the internet, you need somebody to know what the hell they're doing. I mean, granted, it's all pretty basic now. Like, typically it's point and click. But for certain things and, like, certain arrays, like, when you're in a business type environment, like, you have to, like, be able to have security on there. You have to be able to do this. So we had to, like, learn small different aspects of it. And then at that, being an IT on a ship is not what you think it is. Yes, it's being an IT like normal, but it's also off-ship communications. So talking from ship to airplanes, or to helicopters, ship to land. Like, there's ships to satellites.
So you have to have IT for every single thing?
Well, sort of. So IT is split between down the middle. There's two sides of the house. It's called a radio, which is actually what I did. And then there's ADP, automatic data processing, which is the actual, like, system admin IT stuff that you would typically see in everyday world. But I did kind of an aspect of both. Like, no matter what, you do a little bit of both. Like, if somebody calls, like, hey, I need this to be fixed, you can go down there and go fix it. But, like, on other things, like, hey, I need to be able to talk to this boat on this frequency, on this thing. I knew how to do that. So I was in IT, but I wasn't in IT at the same time. It was really weird.
That's interesting, man. So tell me some of the stories you got from your travels. You talked about traveling all over the Navy, or with the Navy. So after you left your school,
our deployment spots were, I think, not in order. Thailand, which was our first port visit. And then we went from Thailand to a place called Oman. We went there 3 different times. Then we went to Israel, a place called Brunei, and then Hong Kong. We went to a place called Pattaya, Thailand. Dude, I don't know why, but it stunk. It smelled horrible. People were like coming up to you like, hey, you want to see a donkey show? You want to see a ping pong show? And if you don't know what that is, donkey shows is where they watch a girl have sexual relations with a donkey.
So you got to get a front row seat to that?
Oh no, I didn't go to watch that. The ping pong show I did though.
All right, so tell me about that. How did you get to that?
Ping pong shows are we're bored. We're like, fuck it. We're gonna make do with what we're gonna do here. Why not? Mm-hmm. Let's go see some outrageous shit. So we go to this ping pong show. This guy, ping pong show. You want to see a ping pong? Like, yeah, fuck it, take us, dude. So we watch, start going, and a ping pong show is basically a magic show with the girl's vag, and she's doing a bunch of different tricks with it.
And there's some ping pongs involved. And let me guess, do they disappear?
Yes, but that's actually the finale.
That's the finale?
Yes. So the start was she smoked a cigarette through her vag, and then this Marine started smoking the cigarette
after it had been on her lips.
Oh yeah,
her other lips.
Yes, dude. Disgusting.
Oh my goodness.
She put Sprite or water into her vag, funneled it out, and that shit was Coke. She put a dart in her, shot it out into a balloon. By the way, I gave her that. She has really good aim.
Somehow she sped it out.
Yeah.
And it flew across the room. Like, how far was this distance that it flew?
Oh, maybe like from like here to the end of the other table, like the other end.
So a good 4 or 5 feet?
Yeah. And still hit the balloon and popped it.
With enough force.
Yeah.
She's got a deadly weapon on her.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, dude. Like, and then the ping pong show. And it was just like basically put ping pongs in there and then like she spits it out. Pattaya, Thailand is like the dirty hookers.
Did you ever partake in stuff like that?
No. But yeah, that's what Pattaya is. Mm-hmm. And it's just it's dirty. Oh. I feel really bad saying that about that country.
Yeah,
because like it's a cheap country. It's really nice though too. It's actually can be really beautiful if you like go out and explore. Mm-hmm. But if you're in the cities, no, it's pretty disgusting. Go to Oman. Mm-hmm. Actually, funny story there. We went to Oman the first time. We went to Muscat. Mm-hmm. Muscat, Oman. We went during Ramadan, so we had to obey by the laws, which means we can't eat or drink, or we can get arrested.
Wow. So even though you're an outsider, you are still...
Well, it doesn't matter regardless of the fact. Yeah. Everything's closed anyway.
Okay.
They don't...
So even if you have like an apple on you, got caught eating an apple.
You can get in trouble, yeah. Because we have to abide by the rules, which is fine.
Yeah.
We were cool with. But we can still eat on our boat, and some of the things that we could do, they provided food because they knew we were outsiders. But like we went cliff jumping.
Cliff jumping?
Oh yeah, that shit was dope, dude. It was something that the boat offered through the MWR, which is a morale thing. So basically, we paid them to get. It's like a. Have you ever been on a cruise?
Oh, it's kind of like a service.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like they're like, hey, we'll like.
This is an excursion you can go off on.
Here's your excursion that you can click on, that you can choose. It's gonna cost this much. So like, okay, cool. So we did it.
Oh, that's pretty
cool.
So
like we went hiking and whatever, and then we found this like little area, and we're like, yeah, you can go swimming here. We're like, legit? They're like, yeah. All right, cool. So everybody's fucking jumping into this water.
What are some of the excursions that you did then?
When I was in Israel, I went to Jerusalem. That was one of the excursions that I got to do, and that was pretty dope. Like I got to see the inside of the walls of Jerusalem. Like I got to see where Jesus was, pinned onto the cross, where he was cleaned up afterwards, where he originally laid in the tomb, which people think it's like a big ass like open area. Mm-hmm. No, it's literally inside of a church, dude. Like it's like here's the hill that he was on, here's where he got bathed, and then there's his temple. Well, there's his tomb. It gets over exaggerated like movies and stuff. Like they journeyed, like they had to make a journey to clean. No, it's like literally. No.
And so you're there going to visit the tomb of Jesus, carrying your Buddhism book.
But it was actually pretty cool, like seeing that, like history. I don't want to say ancient times, but like the past, like it's dope as hell, dude. It was pretty cool. Like I got people like rosaries and stuff like that. Like my grandma got her a rosary from there. I put it on the rock so it was blessed or whatever. Technically, anything that is put onto that rock is a sacred artifact. So it's a religious artifact.
Yeah.
So no matter what, so this marker right here, I put it onto the rock where Jesus was bathing. Since Jesus was bathed there, it's now a holy marker. If I put this in water and pray over it,
it is holy water.
It is holy water.
That is incredible. So now you've traveled to all these different places. What's like one of the most impacting life moments that you've had from your travels?
Like being able to witness like different countries, which is actually really cool. And it's one of those things I'll never forget. I mean, it doesn't make me a better person, doesn't make me anything like that. But being able to see that, you're just like, holy shit. I've got, in my lifetime, I was able to see different countries for free.
I'm sure I can go up and down this neighborhood, and there's probably been 5 people that have left the country.
Yeah, and that's to Mexico.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's to Mexico or to like Jamaica or something because they're on a cruise.
That's true.
But no, literally, like I was on a cruise that I had to work on, and then when we pulled into ports, I was able to go out and go explore it. I can experience those same things by just traveling there and have a better experience, but I didn't. I went through the Navy and I got to do it for free. It's a little bit different now because I'm not the type of person that's like who I was before I joined the Navy. The Navy did change me to like be a little bit more self-reliant and to use myself as my own, like not to use my parents or anybody else as a crutch, but to use myself.
So you got a benefit out of that. You were able to be sharpened as a tool.
I went to the Navy wanting something and I left getting what I needed.
That's good, man.
Yeah, and then that's the only positive outlook that I had about the Navy. The rest of it, besides some of the memories, the rest of it, no, it's all politics, dude. I hate the military. Like, I hate it being in the military just because of the politics. But push comes to shove, I would do it again. 10 out of 10 would do it again.
That's good,
just to get those memories back. So I actually left on my dad's birthday. Well, the day before my dad's birthday, drove...
What's up with you and moving on birthdays?
Yeah, dude, right?
What are you doing?
Dude, but this time was a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, I was ready to leave San Diego. I fucking hated San Diego. 100% would visit. That part, yes. Living there, no, dude, it's too expensive. Like, even being in the military where shit is basically free for you, it's still way too expensive. I left March 25th. So from San Diego to Houston is 21 and a half hour drive. I did that drive in 18 hours.
Because you were ready to get home, man.
Yeah. And my mom flew up. Came down with me, packed up my car, what was left of my stuff that needed to be packed up, that needed to be taken with me, packed it up. The next day, drove.
So you come home, and then was it hard to transition into, we'll call it quote unquote civilian life?
Yeah, because I didn't have a job lined up right away. And I was trying to, but it was really hard for me to get like interviews and stuff because they're like, oh yeah, we want to meet face to face. Well, I kind of can't. I'm still in the military. But I was also trying like a month and a half like beforehand, before coming back. So when I came back, a lot of it was just like still like trying to get the party out of me or whatever and seeing everybody else and ended up getting my first job out of the Navy from a place off 290 because it wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't the job that I wanted. And then I finally got the job that I have now, working for a local community college. And I'm chilling. Like, I'm good now. Right now I'm working from home, so it's fucking great because of this whole COVID-19 thing. But I also, like, don't want to be here, like, at home all the time because it's like...
It's mind-numbing, man. Like,
yeah, it's like, I really don't know what day it is half the time. Like, today, I literally forgot today was Sunday.
The divorce rate spiked.
Did it?
And not here, but in other countries.
I don't pay attention to the news.
So in all the other countries that they've had this and the quarantine has ended, divorce rates went way up because they were like, oh my God, you don't have a personality.
Yeah, you're dry as hell. The only good thing about you is your job, and that's the only thing you talk about, and I'm okay with that usually. What does that say about the other people, though?
It does, right? What does it say about them? They're like, wait a minute, I didn't really love you. I just kind of enjoyed your company. That's a scary thought, man. And I think there's a lot of people that are going through that right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's funny because I asked my girlfriend, if we survive this COVID-19 thing and I'm still living with you and haven't argued, I said, think we're good. I think we're gonna last a while. Because if you haven't got tired of me yet, or you haven't found something wrong with me, then. But in reality, it's like I still do certain things. Like I should definitely probably clean up more. Like I
should definitely flush the toilet after using it.
No, don't get me wrong, dude. I'm fucking lazy. Like I hate cleaning.
Yeah,
but who doesn't? Like it sucks.
Now that you have experiences and you've came back kind of full circle, and what's next for you?
So I don't have a degree. Get my degree and like actually continue my life, you know, save my money, start doing things, start like working for myself too, maybe get into some other projects. After all that, it feels like I'm retired now. Like I'm retired.
We had a whole nother life, man.
Yeah,
like you
so like
really
I'm retired from that whole different life now, and I'm not starting anew necessarily, but
good,
I'm just
man.
gonna kick back, relax, and just do what I got to do to survive, and that's it.
What lasting impact did the Navy have on you?
Being self-reliant, yeah, definitely. That impacted me the most. Being able to rely on myself and not need somebody to crutch. And I'm speaking this mostly financially, because I was very reliant on my parents. Now I make my own money. I pay my bills that I have to, and I'm chill. But like emotionally, like I still need somebody there.
Jesus.
Yeah, it sucks. Like I don't really have PTSD per se, but I definitely have like a really shitty time sleeping, unless somebody's actually in the bed with me. And I figured that out whenever I left the Navy. Like once I got with my girlfriend, I'm able to sleep in bed a decent hour and be able to wake up and everything else. But if she's not there, or if somebody's not there, literally stay up on my phone. I'll watch TV all night. Like it won't work.
What did you learn that you could share with somebody that right now listening could use as a tool to impact their life?
Don't let your past dictate what your future is going to become. I grew up really shitty in the beginning. I had some good parts of my life, like with my dad and everything, but in the beginning, seeing my mom going through what she went through, I didn't let that define who I was. I didn't let that be like, oh yeah, you know, that's the kid whose mom gets beat, or that's the kid who gets fucked up in the head. Nah, I didn't let that like be the main point of my life. I just kind of like, I use that to better myself.
Use it as a motivator.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
And it took me a little while to figure that out by going to the Navy and figuring it out. But if that's what it takes for some people, fucking do it, dude. Like, you'll make memories. Do something that'll help you make memories, whether it be joining the military or doing something that you don't necessarily would think yourself to do, and then do it. Fuck it. Oh, well.
That's good, man. All right. So the story I've been waiting on so that we can get this on tape. All right. We're going to call it.
So we can get it on tape. We gotta have it on tape already. How many times have I told this story to y'all?
So this is one of the best stories that I've ever heard from Dre, and I will always remember this story as one of the best. Dre, take it away.
All right. I don't remember the year, but we went to Seattle, Washington. A pony show for the Navy to say, this is our boat. Like us. Fucking throw a giant party for us. So they do. Different cities will fucking do it. Seattle, Washington being one of them. Los Angeles being one. New York being one. Like, a bunch of different places will fucking do it. Went to Seattle. All right. I was actually in trouble when we pulled in because I messed up some type of maintenance or whatever. So I got bitched at before I actually went out. So I went out. We actually had to go out in our dress uniforms, and it was during the summertime, so it was our white uniforms. Those fucking white bell bottoms, looking fucking fly as shit. God, I hate those damn things, dude.
Looking like you came out of the 1940 Sailor movie, Pearl Harbor ready.
Looking like a fucking Cracker Jack, dude. Actually, no, that's the blue uniforms, but still.
We get the picture now.
Yeah, you get the picture. And, you know, we're sitting there to look pretty for everybody. Like, if somebody comes up to us with a fucking camera and a microphone, we have to be professional. Like, it's weird. Thank God that didn't fucking happen. We went to this first bar, and we went to this first place to eat. So we ate, got some food, got a little bit of drinks in us. We're like, well, fuck, let's go bar hopping. So we went to this next bar, and it was like a little, like, it's grunge. Like, it's fucking Seattle, dude. Like, think of, like, Nirvana. Like, yeah, you'd like Nirvana would be playing this like small ass little bar, or like some like type of like grunge band. So like you're like We just get a couple beers here, play some darts or whatever, and then we go to the next place. The next place was like a club. Mm-hmm. And this was actually where we spent most of our time. And we're, getting drinks or whatever. And people are starting to realize that we're in uniform. And there's a bunch of us dressed the same exact way. People are like, oh, you're in the Navy? Why are y'all here? By the way, it's summertime, so there's no really students on board here. What's there is, internships. It was interning time. So kids that are working, that are in college, trying to get their foot at Google or IBM. Or these fucking big ass companies. And they're like, do you want a drink? Do you want something? We're like, yeah, fuck it. So they're buying us drinks and everything and getting us drunk, and we're just sitting there partying. So we leave this last bar. We close our tabs at this bar. We go to the last place. The last place has $5 pitchers. So I was like, oh, $5 pitchers. So I get 2 pitchers. The bartender's like, hey, you need at least 2 cups. I was like, okay. Grabbed the 2 pitchers and then walked away.
Left the cups. Yeah. I don't need no cups. What are you talking about? Give me a straw.
Think about the pictures that you see. When you think of sailors, you think of they're getting the containers and they're just fucking chugging them down. That's what we were doing.
Oh, Jesus.
$5 pitchers. We're $5 for a pitcher. I had 2 or 3 of pitchers, including the X amount of drinks that I had at bar number 3, and then bar number 2, and then the place where we got food. Woo. So we're drunk already. We're off our ass. My dumb ass decides, hey, I'm going to order some food. So I order some greasy ass food. Everybody's just fucking eating it too. We're like, oh, yeah. And so I kept drinking because I was like, oh, it's starting to sober me up. I'll start fucking drinking some more. Me and my buddy that went there, we had duty the next day, which means me and my buddy had to go back. So we got an Uber to go back, and we're both fucking wasted. Mm-hmm. The Uber drops us off on the opposite side of the railroad tracks where it's fenced off to get to the boat. So we have to walk the rest of the way in white uniforms. Oh, and while I'm in the car right there, my head's outside the window because I get really bad motion sickness when I'm drunk.
Oh my goodness.
So I was I roll down the window, I'm getting fresh air. And some college girl is be strong. Be strong. Don't throw up. You gotta be strong. And she's in the car yeah, uh-huh. And she goes, oh my God, are you in the military? I was yeah. She goes, my dad was in the military. Can I have your hat? I was yeah. Fucking threw it. Later in the car. Never seen that hat again.
Yeah, of course not.
So we get to the area. I don't have a hat. I look fucking wasted. I get the bubble guts. Mm-hmm. I have to use the restroom. So I was fuck. So when you're a kid, did you ever when you got your stomach started rumbling, you're oh, you start bending over to squeeze it in because you're
I still do that now as an adult.
And you're almost home. You're as soon as I can get to the toilet, I'm just gonna hurry up and fucking run in there and just drop my pants. No, dude, I was oh God. So I was sucking it in, trying to So I was oh, so I didn't shit myself, and I was oh, okay. So I finally got to the boat area. We got to the gate. This fucking it's an MA, his master at arms. He's the cops basically of the military. And he's I need your ID. I was here. He goes, where's your cover? You're supposed to have a cover on. I was in 2nd class at this point, and this dude's a fucking seaman. And I was just dude, it doesn't fucking matter, dude. Get the fuck out of my way. I gotta use the restroom. He's no, where's your cover? Da da da. Just so happens that one of my dudes from my shop, one of my friends, he was in the front. He was in charge of everybody. He's hey, what's going on? I was Ty. His name was Tyrinko. I was Ty. He goes, where's your cover? I was I threw it out a fucking window to give it to a girl. He goes, stupid. Okay. He's fine. I was can I use the restroom? There's a fucking line of porta potties. He goes, yeah, go ahead. I used the restroom. Took a shit. I wiped. Done. Okay. So I'm going onto the boat. Press pressure, go aboard. Pressure granted. Go to my fucking barracks. Go to my room. I was just I got an odd feeling that I didn't wipe right. It's
what's the feeling? You got a little bit of
mud.
You feel a little mud. Oh, you got mud.
It felt like mud. Dude. I was
why is it so thick?
I was why is it so sticky?
Feels like I sat on a birthday cake.
And I was and I smelled man, why does it smell like shit? And I'm so I go to the restroom. Well, I take off my shirt, my top, and there's a little bit of stain right there. And I was
oh no.
So I took off my pants. There's a little bit on there. So I didn't really get on my clothes. But it got on my shirt, my white shirt that was underneath, that I had underneath because I tucked it in. So it got onto that. And I was like, oh, got on my underwear.
And you got to pull this over you, right?
And I'm doing all this stuff. I was like, ugh. So I threw it away.
Yeah.
So I get in the shower. I'm like, oh, somebody walks in. They're like, why does it smell like shit in here? Did somebody shit themselves? And I recognized the voice. And I was like, shut up, Lily. He goes, Bella, what's going on? I was like, taking a shower. I think somebody took a shit in the toilet. And left it there. He's like looking. I'm like, I already flushed it. He's like, oh, okay. And reality, it's me. I have shit on my underwear and my shirt because I'm so drunk I didn't wipe right.
Oh my God. You got so drunk that you went into the porta potty. You took a shit.
Didn't wipe all the way.
So you didn't wipe
I was like, oh yeah, dude, a fucking one hand swipe wiping my ass is gonna be fine.
Yeah.
No. It wasn't. I was stupid. Because apparently it was like kind of already, like it was like stuck in between, like on my back a little bit. Because I like wiped too high up.
That's an aggressive wipe, Drake.
So like I was like, I was drunk. What do you expect? So like I just pulled it up and I was like, oh, threw it in the trash. I thought I was good.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody said anything to me because nobody could see it. Because it was on my undershirt. So I had to get rid of my undershirt and my underwear. And I was like, fuck. And I woke up the next day to see if it was like on any of my clothes. But it was more on my blouse than I thought. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I fucking get like bleach and shit. I'm like fucking hardcore trying to like wipe it off. And yeah. No.
Oh,
so man. That's my I shit myself story when I didn't really shit myself. But it was shit on me. So
you never again want to have that happen.
I don't drink as much anymore.
Oh.
I stopped drinking so much. But yeah. No, like no more accidents like that.
That's great. Well, thank you, Drake, for coming out today and doing this podcast with me. That's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like and subscribe button down below to get the latest updates. Until then, see you guys next time.